Okay, so this is going to be a homework using AWS resources. So pretty much this is the description. Using the AWS Management Console, create the following cloud infrastructure. Number one, create a VPC, attach an internet gateway to it, create a public subnet, and then modify its routing table so that there's an entry that points to the internet gateway. Step number two, create an EC2 instance, and then during the virtual machine creation, update the AWS Linux2 OS. The next step is going to install Apache web server. Next is going to be to start that service after it's installed. Next is going to be to enable the httdp service so that whenever I reboot this machine, that service is going to be automatically started. Step number three, once the system is up and running, navigate to the following directory, and I have this /var /www/html. It says that I should verify, also I should verify that the httdp daemon is up and running for the Apache web server. And then also I should another way of verifying this is, it says, by getting a screenshot of the EC2 instance system log to show httpd is running. And then number four, in that location, which is, it refers to this directory, that's the location where I'll be creating a basic HTML file. However, the EC2 user that I'm going to be using to log in won't have the proper permissions on the HTML directory to create a file. Okay, so I'm going to create a file. I'm going to create an HTML file that I'm going to be saving to this directory here, HTML. So I'm going to have to change the permissions on this folder, on the HTML folder, so that I can write to that folder. Next, I'm not going to create an index file. Okay, that's fine. I'm not going to create an index file, so I'm just going to create. Okay, so if I don't, it says that if I don't create an index file, then it's not necessary for this lab, and if I don't create that index file, then whenever I try to connect to the website, I'm going to see a test page from the Apache web server. Okay, so that should be fine. Then the next thing I need to do, the final, is using the EC2 instance public IP address. I need to visit the EC2 webpage. So I'm going to visit the web page of this EC2 instance, and I will be using something like this: http // and then I have to type in the public IP address of that EC2 instance, and then /test, because that's the name of the HTML file that I created. And that's pretty much it. Okay, so let's start with that. So the first thing I need to do here is, it says that I should create a VPC, an internet gateway, create an internet gateway attached to the VPC. Then I'm going to create a public subnet, and I'm going to modify the routing table for that subnet. So this is step two. This is way to do this is going to be for me to go to VPC. There is a sort of a wizard that I could use, which can automatically create the VPC is going to create a VPC, but the most important thing is that it can create the if I select this option, it's only going to create a VPC, but in this case I don't want to create the VPC first and then create the internet gateway, and then on top of that create the public subnet, and then attach the internet gateway to the VPC, and then also for the public subnet I need to modify its routing table so whenever any traffic needs to go to the internet, so whenever the routing table needs to be changed, so if any EC2 instance that is placed inside of the public subnet needs to go to the internet, it will use the internet gateway as a way to get there. So instead of doing that, instead of doing it by hand, what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply use this wizard. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to create let's call it homework, and then I'm going to need one single subnet, and it's going to be public. So I'm going to, because I need just one subnet, that means that I only need one availability zone. And the number of public subnets that I'm going to use is 1. It didn't say anything about the private subnet, so I'm going to say 0 for the public, for the private subnet. I don't need an internet gateway, and also I don't need any S3 gateway. So by doing this, I'm also enabling host names for this, for any EC2 instance that I create inside of this VPC. So I'm going to go ahead and create all of that. Okay, so it seems everything has been created. So that takes care of the first step. So next step I need to do is I need to create an EC2, and then it says that during the creation I should take care of several things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the user data as part of the configuration of an EC2 whenever I need to launch an EC2 to be able to get all of these steps taken care of. So let me go to EC2. And the next step I need to do is I need to go to launch an instance. And so let's see, I'm going to call this web server because it's a web server. Then I need to select the AMI. In this case I'm going to use Linux2, so this is the one that's selected. I'm going to be using the free tier just because I don't want to spend money on this. I'm going to use 64-bit. So the instance type is going to be, actually the instance type is here. So because it's the part of the free tier, I'm going to leave this as is. Then I need to use a key pair. So I'm going to use, I don't know, I can call it, let's see, lab key. I'm going to create a lab key. That's going to be the key pair, lab key. Oh, actually, this is for selecting the key pair. I need to create one. So I'm going to call it lab key, and I'm going to create the key pair. This is the one I'm going to use to SSH into this instance. So let's see. So now that I have created my key pair and I have saved it, I'm going to go to the network settings, because if I don't change the VPC where this EC2 instance is going to be placed, it will go to the default VPC, and I don't want that. That's why I created the homework VPC, and because I only have one public subnet, I just select the one that I have here. I want to make sure that because this is going to be a web server, I need to make sure that this is enabled, which means I'm going to auto-assign a public IP address to this EC2 instance. Because this is going to be a web server, and because I will connect to it using SSH, I need to make sure that this security group that I will create will include inbound rules for SSH, which I have already here, and also for httdp. So I'm going to call this security group, so I can call it web server. Web server and SSH server security group. Okay. Security group. Okay, so that should go that, and then I can copy this here, go to this part of the description, and then I'm going to add these are inbound rules, by the way, so I'm going to add another inbound rule. That is going to be http and it's going to be it's going to be port 80. I'm going to allow traffic from anywhere, and this is going to be http inbound traffic, and this will be SSH for EC2 administration. Okay, so I have those two. That's all the security groups I need. The storage, I'm going to leave it as is. The base, this is part of the free tier. And then because I need to install certain software on this computer and this EC2, when I launch it, I'm going to have to go to the user data. That's at the bottom of this list. There it is. So now what I need to do is I need to find a script that allows me to create what I need. So I have this script here, and it says that well, the first part is a bash script, and then okay, so the first line is going to install http. I need to update the I need to find another script that has that updates the operating system of this machine. Just a moment. Okay, so I found a script that will allow me to update the OS of this EC2 instance. So that's going to be the first line. This second line, I mean. The next line is going to install httpd, which is the Apache web server. The next one is going to enable it, which means that whenever I start the system, it's going to be enabled. It will be running, in other words, in the background. And then the other one that I need to do, I need to have this one that's going to start the Apache web server right after this EC2 instance is fully configured. And then it said in the instructions that I don't need to create the index file, so I can remove this page and this. So pretty much what I need is this script. So now that I have it in the stored in the clipboard, I'm going to paste it here, and then the next step is going to be to launch the instance. Okay, so it has been successfully launched. We go to the EC2 instance. So this is in the pending state. So I'm going to have to wait a few minutes, and then once it passes all the tests, the 2 checks, I will continue. So the two checks have passed, which means I should be ready. I should be able to connect to it. Because I don't want to use SSH using my own computer, I'm going to try to see if I can connect by using the EC2 instance connect. The user is going to be EC2-user. The username was there. That username was there already, so I didn't need to do that. But I'm going to try to connect to it. So it seems that the policy attached to my account, to my IAM user, doesn't allow me to do this connection. So I'm going to have to SSH into this computer, and I'm going to use my own computer, and I'm going to use the command prompt for that. Okay, so I will have to, I'm going to have to SSH into this EC2 instance using my system. Okay, so I have this, and the key I saved it to the temp folder, the PNP. Oh, this is Windows. So that's the lab PEN. This is the key that I'm going to use. Now I need to find out what the IP address, the public IP address of this machine is. I'm going to grab it from here. Just copy that. So I have the IP address, and I have the file is in this directory. So it's going to be SSH -i for identity file. In this case, it's going to be lab.pem. Then I need to use EC2-user at the IP address that I got. Now I try to make a connection. I'm going to say yes to the fingerprint, and I'm connected to this EC2 instance. Now let me take a look at what is it that I need to do, the next step. So I took care, okay, so I'm assuming that all of this run fine. So now what I need to do is, so I'm going to have to try to go to this folder and see if I need to navigate to a folder. Well, first of all, it's in, okay, so what I'm going to do first is, I'm going to do that next. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to verify whether the HTTP daemon that I installed is up and running. So in order to do that, oh, let me see, I seem to be outside of the, oh, permission is denied. Oh, unprotected key file. Oh, this is weird. Okay. Okay, so I had a problem with the permissions for that file because I placed it in a directory that was outside of my home directory. So what I'm going to do now is I moved the file back to my personal directory because nobody should be able to access my home directory. Only whenever I'm logged in into my account, I am the only one who has access to my own files. So I'm going to try again. So it's going to be SSH. The name of, in this case, I have a, let's see, the file is going to be lab something, LPEM. Oh, let me see. Oh. Okay, so the key that I need is called lab key, and I'm going to SSH -I, so it's going to be lab key .pem, and I need the following information. So I need EC2-user at, and now I need to find the IP address of this, the public IP address of that EC2 instance, which is that one. So I select this one. Okay, oh, yes, I'm logging into that machine, good. Okay, so let's take a look again at the instructions and see what step I need to do now. So I need to verify the HTTP daemon is up and running. So in order to do that, what I need to do is systemctl, and then I need to find out the status of HTTPD. Oh, sorry, I forgot to do that letter here, HTTPD. There it is. We can see that it's active and it is running. Okay, so that's what they were asking us in this line. So I just did that and just verify that. It says that alternatively what I can do is I can get a screenshot of the EC2 instance system log to show that this daemon is running. So in order to do that, I'm going to come to this machine and I'm going to go to actions and monitoring and troubleshooting, and I'm going to get system log. I'm going to get the system log. So let's see. Okay, so now here I need to find out that verifying dependencies. So I need to look for where the HTTPD was installed. So it has to be in this system log. This is probably something that was downloaded to update the OS of this machine. I will have to copy this log, and once I copy it, I will have to go to Notepad, and once I have Notepad, I paste this here, and then from here what I can do is I can look for httdp. Let's see, httdp, and I want case insensitive, so I'm going to next. Okay. I don't know why this is not. Oh, I was probably at the end of the file. I'm going to come here at the beginning of the file and find next. Okay. We can see that it was doing something, will be installed. Then you can see here that there's some dependency. Again, processing dependency, and then at some point I should find one entry that says that it has been installed or that it is up and running. Installing package, installing dependencies. It's a lot of entries here. Once service to okay, so I got to the end, so let me move up. Okay, try next. Oh, installed, okay. So I assume that it was installed, we must have installed it. That's what I wanted to do, but by having done what I did earlier, by having done this command, I could see that it was up and running, because I was, what I did here was, I was trying to find out the status of that service, and it tells me that it's running. So that means that that task has been completed. Now what I need to do is I need to go back to my instructions, and it says that I should go to this directory. So I need to navigate to this directory here. So, and then it says, okay, so let me see. So I'm going to do cd and then paste the directory. So I am there. Now it says that in this location, where I'm going to be creating an HTML file there. However, the user that I'm logged in as, which is EC2-user, doesn't have the proper permissions on the HTML directory to create a file. So I'll have to change the folder permissions. So once again, I come back to this. Let me see if that is true. So I'm going to try to get a file. So I can use echo, and this is a file, and I'm going to redirect this to a file which can be file.txt. And that's correct. I don't have permissions to write to this file, to this folder, to the HTML. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go one level up. I can see that the HTML folder is there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the permissions on that folder. So the command that I need to use is chmod. And then basically what I need to do, okay, let's take a look actually at who owns that. Let me take a look at the ownership of that folder, HTML. So it says that it's owned by the root. It's owned by the root user, and it belongs to the root group. So what I need to do is because I am neither the root user nor belong to the root group, what I'm going to assume is that I'm going to be part of the others group. So what I need to do here is I need to add write permission to there. So in order to do that, I'm going to use chmod, and then what I'm going to need to do is I need to add write permission, which so for others, it's going to be I need to add write permission, and the directory is going to be HTML. Let me see. I seem to have made a mistake here. Okay, let's see. HTML is not permitted. Okay, let's Okay, let's see. So I'm going to add the slash so that it knows that it's a folder. We still got the errors. Okay, so the reason why I wasn't able to do this is I'm not logged in as root, so I'm going to use sudo su. Now I am logged in as root, which means I should be able to change these permissions. Chmod o plus write html. Okay, there it is. So now I have changed the permissions of this folder. So now if I exit this root user, now if I go to ls and l, I can see that the HTML folder for others, which I'm part of, is going to have read, write, and execute. That's exactly what I wanted. Now that I have that, I can create my simple web page. So I'm just going to create a basic web page. I'm going to use nano. I'm going to call the file, I think they wanted me to call the file a specific name. It's going to be called okay. The file is going to be called test HTML. So it's going to be test HTML. Okay. Now I can say here, guys, I'm going to use the tags HTML, and then let's see, hello, hello world. Let's go just to say hello world. Hello world from company to something like that. HTML. I need to close this tag HTML, and that's pretty much it. If I want to make the letters larger, I can use this will print in normal size letters, but if I want to print in larger, I can do this header tag and close it here. I need to close it H1. So you open it with, in this case, with this, and then you close it with the other one. Okay. So pretty much that's what I'm going to write, and I'm going to save this page. So I'm going to do click Ctrl O, which is this one, write out, and enter. Oh, mission 9. Oh, okay. Let's see. Stop over the line. I'm going to have to exit. I'm going to scale the changes. Oh, let me see. I should be in the HTML folder. That's what I changed the permissions to. HTML. Okay. So now here, nano. So it is in this HTML folder that I changed the permission, not in the parent directory. So it's going to be test.html. And now I type in HTML. And let's use these other tags. H1 and hello world 2022. I close this lowercase. H1. It's going to be larger text, and H1 and HTML. Close this one, HTML, and close this. And now Ctrl O to write out, enter, and it saves the 2 lines, and now I'm going to exit, and that's it. Okay. So now I have that file in that directory, the one that serves web pages. So now what I can do is I need to find out what the IP address, the public IP address of this EC2 instance is, and try to see if I can connect to the web, to that server. So let me select this so then I can get the details down here. This is the public IP address. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to use another tab, and next I'm going to paste this, and if I just click this, I get to the test page that Apache creates for you. But in this case, I want to go to test, the page that I created, test HTML, and if I got what I wanted. So pretty much I took care of changing the permissions. I had to change the permissions, so I changed them. I had to, if I was using the EC2 user, I wasn't able to create that file, but when I logged in, whenever I did this sudo su, then I was able to escalate my privileges, and I was able to log in as root, and I was able to make the changes to the folder using the chmod command. But previously, the reason I was having errors, issues, was because I was trying to make the changes using only the I was only using the EC2 user. That's a regular user. So I did those. I made those changes. I created the file. I didn't create an index file. That's why whenever I logged in into the website, I saw the web page from Apache. That's what I saw. So that's why it says when I try to connect, I will get the test page from Apache, and I connect to that EC2 instance using the public IP address, and then I had to use this. So pretty much everything worked fine.